for what's right. Fight for your life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of the Ron and Brian podcast. I am Ron, as always, joined by the man who's the number 8 seed in tomorrow's Nathan's hot dog eating contest, Brian. Brian, how you feeling today?
I'm good. I've been doing a cleanse for the last, I was solid 48 hours. My body is literally been subsisting on water, honey, cayenne pepper. And tomorrow, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to shower, I'm going to get into my zone, and then it's just seeing how many hot dogs I can put down my gullet.
I mean, you got tough competition. I was watching the video of Joey Chestnut doing his chewing exercises the other day, hanging like weights from his mouth while he chewed. It's kind of intimidating.
This is serious business. I believe they're having the 30 for 30 on ESPN tonight about the battle that he had with the Hiroshima guy.
Kobayashi?
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll have to check that out, although it'll already been on by the time people listen to this, but I'm sure if you pull it up on your on-demand, you can watch it.
Of course.
And obviously, with the real American music, that can only mean one thing. It's 4th of July time. We are recording this the night before, so you guys will probably be listening to this, hopefully, on Independence Day. Are you excited about 4th of July, Brian?
Super excited. One of the things that most people don't know about me is that I'm a huge barbecuer. I love barbecuing. One of the benefits of living in a New York City apartment is that you just have so much room. So what I like to do is on July 4th every year, I take out the charcoal grill, set it up in my living room. I like to close all the windows because we need to. It's the only way to keep the air conditioning in. So I invite my neighbors over, light the whole bag of charcoal on fire. That's the key. That's what I've experienced with a charcoal grill. I know you're a little bougie, so I imagine you have the gas grill.
I do.
I believe in charcoal. That's the way I was raised. That's the way my father taught me, and that's the way I'm going to teach my son. It's charcoal. That's the way you do the fire. So you put the whole bag on the grill at once. A lot of lighter fluid you need because you got to make sure it all catches.
So just a lot of fuel in general, you're saying, is key to this whole process.
Well, you want to create a lot of heat.
Okay.
So you put the whole bag on, and you try to build in a pyramid shape, very similar to the Egyptians, the pyramids that we all know built by aliens. So you build that up, and what you really want to do is create a nice amount of carbon monoxide in this contained environment, because that is what's going to make those hot dogs taste great. Put a couple burgers on. This year, we have new neighbors on the floor, a lesbian couple, Mary and Sandra, and they are vegans. So after I've got some of those Impossible burgers.
They're very
that
good.
I was able to pick up for them.
Yep.
So I'm going to put them on the grill. But the trick is, and Sandra likes to drink, so this is going to be the key. I'm going to make sure that she has a couple drinks, and I'm going to give her I'm just going to slap on the Impossible burgers when I'm already cooking other burgers on the same grill. It's not going to be an issue. And then I'm going to try and get her to do a taste test.
You rapscallion, you.
That's what I do.
All right. Well, let's get rolling here. I'm a little thirsty. I don't know about you, Brian.
There was only one drink this week.
Well, let's get the drink of the week theme going first.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Sláinte.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Some people love it. Some people hate it. Regardless, we're sticking with the theme. It's drink of the week time, and you're right. There really was only one choice. It was just a matter of how strong our drink was going to be this week. Brian, it was your call. Tell us about our choices this week.
It's been getting warm lately, so there was it was time for us to acknowledge that we have hit the dog days of summer, which can only mean one thing, and that is the gin and tonic had to be brought back. It was one of our drinks last summer. I'm sure you remembered, which was quite popular with the fans. So this year, the question wasn't just whether we were going to drink a gin and tonic or not. It was how strong was this gin and tonic going to be? So the Facebook poll on our podcast page was the option for our listeners: are we drinking singles or are we drinking doubles? And the people wanted to hear me slur at the 45-minute mark, because this wasn't even a close bout.
No. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest. I was shocked that anyone voted for the single gin and tonic.
88% of the vote went to the double gin and tonic. 12% went to the single. So, Ron, what was your formula?
I'm going aviation gin. It's kind of my go-to gin at the moment. Really like it. A couple shots of that. Some tonic. Unfortunately, didn't have a lime that I would normally squeeze in there. So just a little drop of fake lime juice, if you will. But it's still pretty damn tasty.
Hold on a second. This does not sound like the Ron that I know. You did not go out and buy limes?
I thought I
and
had
using lime juice.
I had a lime in the fridge, but it had been there a little too long. So poor preparation on my part.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Thank you. I try. What do you got going?
I've got the Bombay Sapphire,
Of course.
that's my shit. I'm all about that. I looked up the recipe because I wanted to see what was the proper combination.
Okay.
The liquor.com said, and that is, I think that we should reach out to liquor.com and see if they want to sponsor the drink of the week, because they are they're the website I go to in figuring out how to make my drinks. They said you want a 2-to-1 ratio of gin to tonic water.
Interesting.
Which mean that my double, what I basically did was I did a 1-for-1 ratio of Bombay Sapphire gin to our tonic water that was unopened. Had a nice little spill as soon as I opened it. Tonic water really there's something about it where they just shake the shit out of that right before they put that on the store shelves, because half the bottle, literally all over the floor, and it's sticky. It's not a clean beverage.
It is not. I'm not sure what's in there, but it's not.
I think it's the quinine. I'm going to be doing a little cleanup after this podcast, but right now I'm about to drink a gigantic glass of gin and tonic. Cheers, America! I love you with all my heart.
And you got the lime in there, so you're on point tonight. No one can say any differently. So
God damn, that's good.
So thank you everybody for voting. And of course, as always, if you've got any suggestions for future drinks of the week or any themes for drink of the week, go to the Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. I hear Facebook and Instagram's working again, so you can go there now, or go to the website and hit up the contact us page. Give us some ideas. Or if you're going to be in the Philadelphia area on Saturday, July 20th, come on down to Tattooed Mom at 12:30 for the live episode of Ron and Brian, and we'll be doing a live drink of the week poll right there in front of your little faces. Don't know what the drinks are going to be yet. We'll be deciding once we get to Tattooed Mom. But regardless, help us out for future drink of the week choices.
Absolutely. Don't leave us hanging.
No, never do that. All right, next up on the docket, we have ourselves some racism this week.
This
Week.
in
Racism.
Racism.
As you remember from last week, this week in racism took a hiatus because we didn't have any racism last week. But
There was
of
no
course,
racism in the entire country.
none whatsoever. But of course, the country never lets us down. We had a few cases to choose from. I'm sure everybody saw this video from Freeport, Illinois. A black man was arrested while taking a walk outside of a hospital. Shaquille Dukes, 24, was walking outside of FHN Memorial Hospital wearing a hospital gown and attached to an IV. After having spent 2 days in the hospital for pneumonia, He had been cleared by a doctor to take a walk around outside, but was stopped by a hotel security guard that accused him of trying to steal the IV. Police were called, and Dukes was charged with disorderly behavior. He has since filed a formal complaint with the city. Now, that would be a pretty aggressive con to go through to just try and steal an IV bag, which I don't think would fetch you that much on the streets.
I've seen crimes committed for far worse.
All right, good point. But even still, if the IV is hooked up to the human being, odds are he might need it. He might not be stealing it.
Quite possible.
In Detroit, Michigan, local artist Sheafy McFly had recently been commissioned by the city to paint a series of murals around town to honor the Motor City as part of its City Walls initiative. Police approached him while he was working, and when he was unable to produce the permit supplied to him by the city, he was arrested, despite a city official confirming his story with the police present. McFly spent the night in jail, but charges were later dropped. And then going all the way out to Honolulu, Hawaii, Mark Char appeared in court on Monday to be sentenced for a vicious road rage incident, and he decided to wear blackface to court, stating that he felt like the court was treating him like a black man. But
this one was great because this is a guy that's in jail.
He is in jail, so somehow he managed to get blackface in jail.
Did you read the article? Do you read what they suspect he did?
I did not see that part.
Used a Sharpie. Literally covered his face, his arms, like every body part that was shown through his police uniform. While wearing the police uniform, he wrote over using a black Sharpie. I mean, let's give this guy as much as it's definitely an act of racism, let's give him some credit, because we've been doing this for about 4 years. That's the first time we've seen something, that's dedication.
That's
this
commitment.
Isn't shoe polish.
No.
Every Halloween we get some college kids, some privileged college kids who think it's going to be cool to rub some shoe polish on their face. No. This kid sat there in his cell and drew probably for several hours. That takes a lot of racism.
I mean, the fact that he could have just sat in his cell and the guards really didn't notice that also says a lot for the Honolulu police.
Or they could have been taking bets on how many pens he was going to need.
Good point. All right, well, we do have two contenders this week, since we did retire Days and Dave last week. And yet again, we've got another college versus high school matchup, which have been very popular lately. First, we're going out to Pittsburgh, where University of Pittsburgh student Ethan Kozak has been interviewed by city and university police over racist texts he sent to a black student, DJ Matthews. In the texts that were posted in Twitter, he uses the N-word numerous times along with the phrase cotton pickers, and then he also stated that he would shoot Matthews legally, quote, just like George Zimmerman. Kozak has been placed on interim suspension by the university.
Didn't he have a career lined up for his summer? I
mean, he had done an internship with a Colorado senator. I don't know if he was going to repeat that, but apparently comes from some money. But yeah, he's going to be on suspension for a while. Normally we like having some audio. We don't have any for this, but we will post the pictures of the texts on our Facebook page, so you can take those under consideration when voting this week.
If we need audio, would you be willing to read what he wrote to the other person?
Absolutely not. I like I see what you're trying to do here, trying to get me caught up in this, but no.
I mean, in words that are, if there are words that you're uncomfortable saying aloud, I mean, you could insert something else.
I'll see what we can do. We'll talk about it after the cast.
All right. Don't say I didn't try.
I understand.
Don't say I did not try.
So that was our first contender. Our second contender comes from California. Students from the Quartz Hill High School in Lancaster, California, shared a Snapchat showing them putting blackface on one of the students, while other students in the group use the N-word. And we do have a little bit of audio from that Snapchat.
A white nigga?
Ooga booga, nigger.
Ooga booga.
And now the high school and school district is currently investigating the incident, but have not commented on any potential punishment for the students. The LA County Sheriff's Department has also investigated the video, but stated that it does not appear to show evidence of a crime. So we're going to have the Quartz High Quartz Hill High School racist going up against Ethan Kozak this week. Vote for This Week in Racism on the Facebook page, on the Twitter page, or both. We're not going to check you, but go ahead and vote. We'll have those up shortly. Brian, as always, I'm throwing it over to you for a prediction.
To me, this is a no-brainer. Unless there's audio, Ethan Kozak will walk home head hung low. He will not get the victory. I think we are looking at nothing more than, we know this. The audience loves racist students. They love them.
It'll be interesting to see once we put the pictures of the text that Ethan sent out online.
Right.
It's going to be a close one. I feel this week is going to be closer than you're anticipating.
Listen, have I not been quite successful?
You have.
Time?
I don't know why I question you. It's just sometimes I feel like you're having a good run. Everybody hits the end of that run occasionally, but maybe I'll be wrong.
America loves racist white girls who are privileged and love dropping the N-bomb when they're sitting around the house drinking. It's racist of the week, people. Let's vote. Go to our Facebook page. Let your voice be heard.
Or go to Twitter. Either one. We love you either way. All right, let's keep this rolling along. It's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week, my friend?
I'll tell you something. It's the New York City subway system.
Really? That's shocking.
I'll tell you something. There's one thing that I love about New York City. It's the smells that are generated. And what most people don't quite realize is that during the winter, most of the smells are frozen. So, the substances that normally would emit a foul odor somehow just, they get bottled up in the snow. They get, it's not a problem. During the summer months, on the other hand, you really pick up the subtleties of urine, and
it's pungent. I can attest to that.
3 times in the past week, I took a subway car ride, and the subway car I was in had at some point been urinated in, and 2 of them clearly had been cleaned afterwards. But the car smelled like industrial cleaner and urine. And the New York City subways, you got to do a better job cleaning up. It is an offensive odor. And for the tourists that don't really know what the heck they feel like doing this year, come to New York, smell our urine.
Yes, you won't find urine like that anywhere else in the country.
No, not at all. Ron, what's your beef this week?
My beef this week is with Netflix. Do you watch the Netflix, Brian?
The Netflix.
The Netflix.
The Netflix rules all of our lives. So they're a potential sponsor.
They are.
Were you not aware that I was in negotiations with the Netflix to see if they would be willing to, cough us a couple ducats a week for us to promote their newest show?
I mean, I wasn't aware. Hopefully they won't hold this against us, but I got a beef with them. Are you a fan of Stranger Things?
Never seen an episode.
All right. Well, I and the missus, we tend to like it, and they're dropping the new season tomorrow, which they may think is a good thing, dropping it on a holiday, but I got shit to do tomorrow. I got shit to do. I got family coming in for the weekend. I'm not going to be able to watch any of these episodes probably till Monday at the earliest.
Why is this a problem?
Why can't you just drop it on July 1st? You obviously already have the episodes available. Why not just give them to us? We've been waiting long enough. Just give us the damn episodes.
I genuinely don't, and I know where this is coming from. It's coming from FOMO. It's coming from a place of fear of missing out. Your concern is that these episodes drop on July 4th. Ron and his wife are going to be entertaining family. You're going to be celebrating the holidays. You're going to be spending quality time with your loved ones.
That's right.
Meanwhile, you're not going to be able to watch a TV show, and somehow this is your biggest complaint of the week. that you're going to be spending time with loved ones and not watching television. Now, my concern here is that you are going to be able to watch these shows. It's not as if they're going to be aired once on July 4th and never again.
How do you know,
It's
Brian? How do you know?
Because it's the Netflix.
All right. Good point.
Their whole business model is wrapped around the idea of streaming and on demand. You'll be able to watch this on Monday to your heart's content. Can you do me a favor?
I can.
Explain to me the Stranger Things. I have not seen an episode. I know it's about little kids.
Well, that is part of it.
One kid is either 7, 8, or 11, and I don't know I don't get the references. I'm missing out on all the memes.
Well, she was part of a government experiment, and they all had numbers that they were given. So the one you're thinking of is 11, Millie Bobby Brown, and so she has some kind of telekinetic powers.
I do what I want to do. It's my prerogative.
She was actually named after Bobby Brown. A lot of people don't realize that. So yes, there's a lot of it's set in the 80s. It's very like back in the day. If you grew up in the 80s like we did, you'll definitely get a kick out of it. I think you should try it. I think you'd like it.
What's the plot of it? Are these all kids that were part of a government experiment?
No, just 11 was part of a government experiment, and then she meets up with these other kids in this town where her lab is, and they've got to fight evil.
So it's like a Harry Potter?
No, it's more...
that takes place in the 80s?
You're
not selling me on it.
The government opened up a portal to another dimension that's referred to as the Upside Down. There's a monster in the Upside Down. So, again, I would just give it an episode or two.
If your idea was that you were going to sell me on Stranger Things... You did the complete opposite.
I have to admit, I wasn't trying.
Ron, and if you ask me, if your question to me is, Brian, what are you watching?
Yes, Brian, what are you watching right now?
I just started the first season of True Detective.
The first one?
Woody Harrelson
yes.
and Matthew McConaughey.
That was good. Season 2, not so much. Season 3, better.
Okay. I heard great things about it. I finished the Netflix the 4 seasons of Schitt's Creek with Eugene Levy and
Catherine
Harvey
O'Hara.
Levy and Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy's eyebrows, which oddly get third billing on that show, and it's an ensemble piece with Chris Elliott. The eyebrows are listed on the credits above Chris Elliott, which I just thought was a little shocking.
That's gotta hurt.
Great first season, and then seasons 2, 3, and 4. It's like you're running on a treadmill. It really is.
You're really selling me on watching it.
I don't, but this is where my loyalty is. I started watching a show and I had to continue and watch through to completion.
All right.
Like I wish I had the ability to just shut it off when I stopped finding it entertaining, but instead I powered through the second season, knocked out the third, watched the fourth, and was less and less interested as it was going on. Now that I've knocked it out, I'm moving over True Detective.
All right. Well, that's what I like about you. You start something and you don't finish till you're done.
Let's face it. Why do you think we're on episode 61?
That's right. We keep it rolling.
If it were up to me, I would have dropped this shit at least after episode 22.
To follow up on last week's Beef of the Week, I have gone out. I have gotten myself an air conditioner for the office that I record in, not waiting for the Kickstarter project to come in at this point. Very comfortable, especially since it's muggy as balls out there today. I don't know what it's like out there by you, but we just had a huge rainstorm. Didn't do a damn thing. Still hot, still muggy.
We never got rain.
But I'm very cozy right now. I got the room down to a nice 62 degrees, so I can turn off the air conditioner while I record. Look at this. My glass, my drink, not even sweating. That's how cool it is in here.
I'm jealous. I'm also jealous that you still have your drink because I'm about to take the last sip of mine.
It's a lot of gin. There's no question about it. There's a lot of gin. So,
I went through a stage, I would say, when I was in my early 30s where I was just drinking straight up Bombay Sapphire on the rocks.
Okay.
I was blacking out a lot during that period of time. And I don't even say that as a joke. I genuinely was blacking out a lot. I thought I was suave. I thought I was cool by ordering that drink. And there were a lot of nights where I was wake up wondering how I got home. So Now we put some tonic water in. This is just a delicious beverage. If you're not listening to this episode drinking a gin and tonic, hit pause. Tell the boss you've got to run an errand. Go get a gin and tonic at the local watering hole. Come back to work, and I'm going to tell you something. The rest of your afternoon, it's going to be mighty fine.
There you go. Did I ever tell you the Tanqueray story? How I won some charity raffle to go to like a Tanqueray party with that guy who was the spokesperson for a while, like 10 or so years ago.
The Jamaican guy,
Tony Sinclair. That's what the character's name was. So yeah.
Okay.
So went to this club in downtown Philly. Had a little VIP section. Got to drink a lot of Tanqueray, eat food, and really be in a crowd of people that I probably would not have spent time with otherwise because I was not hip enough to be there.
But did you have a good time?
I was uncomfortable for most of it.
Were you? But after the amount of Tanqueray that you took, you drank.
It helped.
You enjoyed. Like you did not like start to become the life of the party.
I did not. Surprisingly enough, wasn't as outgoing then as I am now.
I'm surprised by that. A little disappointed. I really see you as the person that like walks into a room, like kind of surveys the landscape and says, "This room is going to be my bitch."
I'm what you would refer to as a extroverted introvert.
I think that's why we work out very well, because I would say that I'm a introverted extrovert.
So we're like yin and yang.
Do you want to dock?
Maybe later.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we are coming up on Independence Day. Recording this the night before. Apparently, big party going to be going on in D.C. tomorrow. Whole big shit show happening. Brian, talk to us a little bit about what our friend Commissar Trump has put together.
Well, I think what we're looking at here is a year ago, you had a president who was really getting, I believe, jealous. Frankly, I mean, from what we know, the man is insanely jealous. If anybody else has got any type of attention, he's not getting. And I think that it was starting to bother him that other countries were having military parades, that there were shows of military power going on in Russia, that were going on in China, that were going on in Malaysia, that were going on in Singapore, that were going on in South Korea, that were going on
a lot of places,
Romania.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you? I've got a list here.
No, you're good. Parade. You're good. Please continue.
Move on. Okay. So I think the idea was that in 2018, Trump announced that he wanted America to have our military parade. You know, you think about it, we by far have the largest military in this world. And I think he wanted to have an opportunity to show the rest of the world, these are the toys we get to play with if you want to fuck with us. And it did not happen in 2018. The military pushed back, said this is going to be insanely expensive. There's no reason for this. It's going to be difficult. I believe Washington, D.C., the actual municipality, stepped in and pushed back in terms of issuing permits for the different types of military planes and tanks and personnel and whatnot. This year, Trump was pretty quiet about the build up to the two. And every year in in Washington D.C. in the National Mall, there's a big concert that leads to our nation's fireworks display. This year, Trump has insinuated himself into the process. We now are going to have, well, you can say we're fortunate to have a military show. From what I read earlier, there's what, like 3 tanks, and we're going to do a flyover.
Two or three tanks. I think the Blue Angels were supposed to do a flyover. From what I understand, it's very possible that may be canceled due to the weather.
Well, the idea is the fact that he made this huge effort that he wants a military parade, and it's going to be the weakest, limpest show of military force, so it's going to come off embarrassingly small. But really what we're looking at here is this is candidate Trump showing 2020 that he's the president.
Right. And what's what's ridiculous to me, because there's been a number of people that have said that, they're going to boycott the parade. I know MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, they've all stated they will not be showing the festivities live. And what you're getting, the talking point you're getting from the right is, I can't believe people are disrespecting our military like this. And it's ludicrous because even the military doesn't want to be at this event. Most of Trump's high-level military officials are passing on this. They're sending people in their stead because they're uncomfortable with this. This is, like you said, it's pretty much just a big campaign event. And
right.
I mean, all right, so fine on the presidential side, it's a violation of the Hatch Act. Clearly, we've already seen no one in Congress is going to give a shit about that and do anything about that.
Nobody cares about it.
Thankfully, in the military side, there's also very clear DoD guidelines on not participating in political events as well. And I think that's why I think military people are concerned about that. They don't necessarily want a show of force, because why is that necessary to show the American people the forces that we have available? We already know that. We already know how much money we spend on defense. And it is ridiculous that the money that's going towards this event, could help homeless military. He's doing this while cutting funding to the VA. He's doing this while hundreds and hundreds of positions at the VA have still not been filled in the 2 years that he's been president, and therefore ex-military people aren't able to get the services that they deserve. Plus, think about how tough soldiers, people with PTSD have around July 4th in general, with fireworks and everything else. How do you think these people react when they literally see tanks and planes flying through their city? How much more does that impact them? So it's a big shit show. One thing I like is that there is a group of veterans that are going to be going through Washington, D.C., handing out 5,000 T-shirts commemorating the USS John McCain, just to piss off Donnie Trump.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm always good with that.
Well, I did read that the city of Washington, D.C., which I believe as a municipality tends to slide liberal.
Oh, it does.
They issued the approval for the Donald Baby Trump balloon that will fly through the streets of Washington, D.C. On July 4th while he's doing his parade.
And, they've also said that they will bill the federal government for, any damage that these tanks do to the roads. I mean, the city of D.C. and its bridges are not designed for that kind of weight, that kind of material. But, again, why would they bill a man who doesn't pay his bills?
Still doesn't pay his bill. Prides himself on not paying bills.
Still has not paid the bills for his inauguration. There are still outstanding bills with Washington.
But I read
DC
that was the highest. I read that was the highest donated to inauguration in the history of the country.
That's probably why
that he raised more funds than anyone else. There's no reason why he'd be struggling to pay bills unless there was something nefarious going on.
Might be why there's a lawsuit against the people who ran the inauguration committee.
Surprised, very surprised by that. Shocked, if you would.
And I think there's 10 states still trying to collect money for Trump campaign rallies for 2016.
Good luck.
Yeah. So this, again, we love our military, and it's a shame that they're kind of being put in the middle, being used as a political toy like this. Hopefully, we will get through July 4th without any major incidents.
No, I'm sure we will. I got faith.
You have faith?
I got faith. So you gotta have faith. And, wow, the gin is kicking in, people. The gin has kicked in. I just started to sing. Wow, this is only going to go downhill. Oh boy, the first half is in the bag. Okay, this can only go downhill.
Nice.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I mean, you saw the size of this glass. There's not much left.
It's a big glass, folks. You can't see it at home, but it was a big J&T that he was doing.
This was a 1-to-1 ratio. Brian's getting lit on July 3. Oh, yeah.
Brian, your thoughts on the whole census citizenship question debacle that's going on this week?
I don't have the same sense of outrage about it. I do understand the fear of people that are not citizens that are going to will not fill out the census because they fear that somehow it will identify themselves as targets of ICE and the Republican apparatus that is really conducting a war on immigrants. Is really the way I want to start looking at the Trump administration. I mean, they have been fighting a war from day one. They're fighting against immigrants from our southern border. So, but at the same time, I don't, in theory, have any sense of outrage over a question asking if people are citizens or not.
Okay. I guess
because I do believe that, for years we have had we've had a census. We've had a count of the number of people in this country that is not reflective of an actual number.
So, all right, I understand that perhaps that doesn't generate any outrage with you, but the fact that the Supreme Court said that their argument to include the question the census was invalid, and now Trump wants to go ahead and do it anyway, does ignoring the rule of law or ignoring the Supreme Court outrage you?
But no, does it outrage me? Of course, but at this point, it's the acknowledgement that we have a president who openly has no respect for any form of authority other than his own personal wishes. This isn't new. This isn't shocking. This isn't anything that he hasn't done a dozen different times. We've got a president who we didn't elect. I'm sorry, we did.
Not according to Jimmy Carter.
Understood. We have a president who does not believe that there should be any constraints on the federal government beyond what he wants. He clearly wants to run the federal government in the way that he ran the Trump company, the Trump organization, whatever form you want to call him. But, when he was in the private sector, he ran a company where he made the decisions. He was surrounded by yes men and women. Everybody went out and did whatever it was that he told them to do. He wants to apply that same rule to the federal government. And what saddens me is that the people who should be standing up to him are allowing him just to continue pushing. And there does not seem to be any true form of resistance to push back.
No. What I did find that was kind of humorous is when it first seemed like they were just going to leave the question out of the census. There was a group of Trump supporters that started to say, well, you know what? We're just going to boycott the census. Yeah. We're just not going to fill it out, man.
Fucking morons.
Right. And everybody on the left was like, yeah, you should totally do that. Because that would at least shift money back to the blue states. The fewer people that complete the census in the red state, I don't think people really understand that the census, determines how many representatives you have in the House of Representatives, your federal funding, things of that nature. So listen, if you're in a red state, feel free to skip the census. It's optional for you guys. We know a lot of you can't read to begin with. Don't trouble yourself in that kind of way.
Yeehaw.
Well, I'm sure the arguments are just getting started with that, so we will see what that happens. We still have a ways to go before that census gets sent out, but unfortunately...
Do you remember filling out the census in 2010?
In 2010, vaguely. I got a pre-census thing the other day.
That was for me. Was
that it?
Is that the document that asked you to measure your penis?
It was, and I was like, I really don't remember this information being necessary before.
I sent that to you. That was for me.
But yeah, I got this thing, and I had to go online, and I had to take
pictures. You plumping. Take a video during the plumping process, and then full erection stage. These are the things that I'm interested in. I don't really care the number of people that are living in your household. I would never ask a census question. It's not important to me. What I do want to know is, are there any interesting marks? on your genitalia that we should know about, and that's why I got a lot of pushback. Is why do you have to upload photos? The website, and I'm working with my web developer because right now the website's not secure, and it's causing a lot of people not wanting to upload photos of their genitalia. Because really, if there's any way to truly trust counting the American people, it's looking at pictures of their genitalia, putting them in a gigantic database to compare, because you're not going to be, no two people's genitalias are the same.
No.
We're all like snowflakes.
Okay.
So to me, that is by far the more accurate census process. Don't send out a piece of paper that people are going to manually fill out that a Scantron machine is going to read. No. Take pictures of your genitalia, upload it to my website, and just trust me with the data. I know the website isn't HTTPS; it's just HTTP. But I don't have the SSL certificate. But just help me out, people. It's one of those things where you start slow. The snowball effect, and not like the snowball that I used to watch in videos when I was in college. But there's the type of snowball where you gain traction, you gain momentum. One person does it, two people see that and say, "Hey, I want in on it." Then the four people see those two people, and so on and so on and so on and so on.
Give me some relief.
I've got a gigantic database of genitalia, which is really all I've ever asked for.
And this is what happens when we let Brian drink a lot of gin during a podcast. Well, regardless, we'll see if the citizenship and genitalia question ends up on the 2020 census. We do have, Brian, some people, unfortunately, that aren't going to be around to fill out that 2020 census. That's right, it's time for celebrity obituaries. We lost a couple of athletes this week. LA Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs was found dead in a hotel room on Monday, hours before his team was scheduled to face the Texas Rangers. He was 27 years old, close to 28. No foul play is suspected, nor is suicide suspected. I mean, could be heart failure.
How does somebody in their 20s just die?
I mean, these things happen. Like I said, it could be heart failure, could be, could be some type of birth defect that was not detected. A lot of ways that can happen. So we will have to wait and see what the autopsy turns up. Also earlier today, former Giants QB Jared Lawrenson, the ex-Giants backup, he was there in 2004, got a ring with them in 2007. The man that was dubbed the Hefty Lefty. He was a quarterback from Kentucky. Big man, big guy, but mobile. Very popular with the Giants fans when he was backing up Eli there. Also referred to as the Pillsbury Throwboy.
Oh God, that's not a good nickname.
He was okay with it. He had a good sense of humor about it, but had many issues with his weight over the years. Had ballooned up over 500 pounds. He was hospitalized about 5 days ago with kidney and heart problems complicated by an infection, and passed away earlier today.
That's a shame.
Artie Johnson, going back a ways, for those of you out there who may or may not remember the Martin and Rowan's Laugh-In. That's really showing your age if you do.
Artie Johnson?
Artie Johnson.
Why don't I remember?
He was the short guy with the glasses. He used to play the little German.
No!
He used to play the little German soldier character.
No way! That guy died today.
He did die.
Holy shit!
At the age of 90.
I blame you for this because you did not tell me.
I sent you this message earlier today.
No, you sent me a message about a foot fetish website where somebody working at a Payless store in North Dakota had secretly set up webcams underneath the seats and was taking videos of women's feet. I mean, I watched those videos for about 2 hours today at work.
Anyway, Artie
Crazy
Johnson,
day.
90 years old. He was a regular on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Best
That's a
remembered his characters. He had an old man who habitually propositioned Ruth Buzzy's spinster character. He also played a German soldier, often with a catchphrase.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So that was Artie Johnson. If you saw a picture, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that guy. Passed away at the age of 90 again. Survived by his wife, Gisela. They were married over 50 years. That's got to be rough. You're married to someone for 50 years, and now you're like, you got to go on all by yourself.
Yeah, I would say that's a rough call.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we also...
And it doesn't get any worse. It doesn't get worse.
No? You sure about that?
Positive. I mean, Artie Johnson from Laughing. Yeah, there's no way to top that. I mean, the pain I'm feeling right now.
What if I were to tell you that the man, the myth, the legend, Lee Iacocca, also passed away this week?
Iacocca?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Chairman of Ford Chrysler.
No.
The man who brought them back from near bankruptcy.
Ronald.
Introduced the K car. You know,
this can't be.
If you can find a better car, buy it, you son of a bitch.
No.
Passed away at the age of 94.
No.
A good long life. No, you're not accepting that?
No.
Do you
I
feel
can't. I just can't.
Do you feel like perhaps you need to give him some sort of tribute?
What? No.
Perhaps we need to take it back?
I'm in my feelings right now.
Take it old school?
Oh no.
Come on, Brian.
I couldn't do it. You can't put me in a spot like that.
Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this one's going out to Lee Iacocca. You weren't just a man, your name rhymed with tapioca. Yeah. Lee Iacocca, you drank your lattes with mocha. You hated Dr. Pepper, only drank Coca-Cola. Got married 3 times, cause them bitches be loca. You were associated with cars, so let me drop some bars. Ford, Motor, Pinto, and Chrysler. You were the 80s business czar. Had Detroit run like a star. Though your golf game sucked, you never shot par. Oh, Lee Iacocca. Parkinson's took your ass out, but you lived with tons of clout, and there ain't no fucking doubt. You were a legend, so we're gonna forgive what you did to that Girl Scout. Fuck yeah, Lee Iacocca. Much love, one love, respect, peace out. We gonna miss you.
You know, I'm going through his biography here. I don't see anything mentioned about a Girl Scout.
What?
Allegedly. We'll just have to throw allegedly in there.
What? There was the big scandal with him and the Girl Scout.
Was it? You sure?
I wrote that before the gin and tonic, if you can believe.
Well, anyway, you know what else he was involved with back in the 70s with Ford, actually in the late 60s, early 70s?
No, I'll tell you exactly what he was involved
Please.
in. Smuggling crack cocaine in from Colombia into the ghettos.
Not exactly, no. He was responsible. He was part of the team responsible for the Ford Pinto.
I referenced the Pinto in my slow jam.
The car that would blow up if you rear-ended it too hard.
Much like the Girl Scout.
Okay.
What?
Well, rest in peace, all 4 of you gentlemen.
Iacocca, shout out. We love you.
Now, last week we had recorded the day after the first night of the Democratic presidential debates. We were recording during the second night of the presidential debates, so we really didn't have the opportunity to talk about it. Brian, after watching some recaps of night 2 of the debates, what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were that I was expecting Joe Biden to be the target, the punching bag. I was expecting everybody to see him as the front runner, the person that they needed to show they could go up against, be compared to, and come out standing on their feet. What I was surprised at was how he really seemed to take the approach of, trying to act like the town elder who knew better than everyone else. That tactic failed miserably. Kamala Harris looked splendid.
I
during her
was
presentation.
surprised that she did not get arrested for elder abuse.
Oh, it was incredible. Once again, going back to night one, and it was a theme that was repeated in night two of the Democratic debates, was too many people that had no business being considered for president.
Well, and there were, of course, a number of polls that came out night one. So one of the more interesting polls asked Democratic and Democratic-leaning voters, did the debate improve or worsen your opinion of any of these candidates? Night one, no surprise, the person that saw the biggest change was Elizabeth Warren, net change of 54% positivity. Julian Castro picked up 37%, and Cory Booker at 20%.
Who was the second name you gave me?
Julian Castro.
Who?
Julian Castro. How do you say his first name?
A little bit more emphasis. A little bit more.
Julian Castro.
There you
All
go. Attaboy. You're bringing it back to Southwest 8th Street.
And you know who?
Calle Ocho.
You know who got bitch slapped in that first night of the debate in the polls? Beto.
Of course.
Beto
The guy
lost 18 points of favorability in this particular poll. And again, no surprise on night two, Kamala Harris jumping 49% in favorability in this particular rating. Joe Biden losing 11 points. And from what I've seen, since the debates, both Bernie and Joe Biden taking significant hits, while Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris making significant jumps. We've got ourselves a contest now. Before it looked like Biden or Bernie might run away with it. It's really a 4 or 5 person race at this point.
What I saw from the debates, or my takeaway, and as well as reading the commentary, is that it really Biden and Bernie Sanders genuinely appeared not necessarily out of touch, but they definitely gave the impression of these are not the individuals that we want to represent the Democratic Party going up against Trump in 2020. They, not to say they were out of step or out of touch. It was just there was the old factor. I genuinely believe I'm impressed with the way Elizabeth Warren pulled out, because if you're looking at candidates based on age, she definitely was in the top 3, but she was able to go toe to toe with the youngsters and show that she bitch slapped them all like with a wet overcooked lasagna noodle. Kamala Harris walked in there and she brought energy, she brought intellect. She brought likability. She brought electability. If she were an animal, I would say, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That meant nothing. That meant absolutely nothing.
Also, night two, Pete Buttigieg. I got to really learn to pronounce some of these names. He also gained 18 points in favorability. What I also thought was pretty impressive is closing out the second quarter fundraising-wise. He raised $3 million more than Biden did in the second quarter.
Which is odd because he is very also, bringing back the circular reference, much like the Pinto, if you rear-end him, he does explode.
Good to know. Should I cut that part out or should I leave that one in?
You cut that out. I swear to God, I'm quitting this podcast.
Well,
I will quit this podcast if you cut that line out, because that may be the best line I've ever had in 61 weeks.
All right. Well, we will definitely leave that one in.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I take a bow.
So the next set of Democratic debates has been the dates have been set, July 30th and 31st. I guess we're still looking at potentially 10 candidates a night. I don't think anybody's really going to drop out. I mean, if they are, it's probably no one that would be would have gotten on the stage to begin with. I hope they have Marianne Williamson on there just for the fact that she cracks me up.
But it's the same criteria, because I remember last time we spoke, you mentioned that you thought that with each succeeding round of debates, they were going to raise the criteria for getting on that stage.
Well, one thing they did change from this one to the next was the number of donors needed to get on the stage. For this one, it was 65,000. They had announced previously it's going up to 130,000 for the next debates. But I would imagine we'll probably see the same 20 individuals just mixed up. I would be very interested to see Warren and Harris on the same debate stage.
Yeah.
Because, for me, they've got some different personalities, different policies. I'd really like to hear them go head to head. A lot of people are saying that could be the ticket in some way, shape, or form. Warren, Harris.
Is that because you are turned on by watching two women catfight with each other?
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not. I'm just saying.
Okay, just asking.
And
I'm not asking. I'm just asking.
You're just asking. Just
asking. I'm asking the questions America wants to know the answers to.
Speaking of the Biden family, let's talk about Hunter Biden for a minute. So
what the fuck?
So
what the fuck, Ron?
First, let's talk Beau Biden.
Gotta love Beau Biden.
The son of Joe Biden passed away from cancer back in 2015. Really seemed like a stand-up guy. Military, served his country, helped his dad's campaigns consistently. Good family man, fought cancer bravely and lost him. And then you've got Hunter Biden, who ends up dating his brother's widow, which seems a little weird. Okay, I'll give you that.
But it was also an uncomfortable period of time after his brother's death that they started dating.
Yeah, it was the following year.
There should have been a little bit more of a, how do I call this politely, a cooling off period.
Or maybe, there's a lot of people on the planet. Maybe you don't date your brother's widow. Just throwing that out there.
But she's there.
And they shared a very specific grief, as he said.
Agreed.
Then, they break up, and he marries this woman, another woman, like 3 weeks later. Now he's also being mentioned in a paternity suit. And then he did a New Yorker interview the other week. Turns out that prior to, connecting with his brother's widow, he went on a crack binge.
Oh.
He apparently was heading to a detox
Hunter,
center.
What are you thinking?
He was heading to a detox center in Arizona. Got a little sidetracked during a stopover in L.A. Happens to the best of us. And asked a vagrant where he could buy some crack. And then eventually he got into a fight outside of a Hollywood Boulevard nightclub. And this is the best. A man nicknamed Baby Down took pity on him and brought him to a Hertz car rental office.
Now the question is, did that homeless man know where to get crack?
Well, clearly, because when Hertz got the car back, they found a crack pipe and a baggie containing a, quote, white powdery substance, along with a Secret Service business card. So that's always good.
Oh, no.
Leave your drugs in a car that you've rented in your own name, and leave a Secret Service business card there as well.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a bad one.
So, and again, if we want to talk about, we talk about the white privilege a lot.
Oh my God, leaving smoking crack and waving a card in the air that says the Secret Service has got my back. That is the very definition.
So despite the fact that the Hertz workers found this crack pipe and a baggie of crack in a car that he had rented, local prosecutors said, we're not going to pursue this case, because they don't know if he actually used the pipe or not.
There's no case here. I don't see a case.
You don't see a case. You don't see any reason to investigate this.
First off, the glass pipe. It could be construed as a painting tool, something that's used in the arts and crafts field. The white powder that was also located. The man likes to salt his food, and not you can't and I don't know whether you have had this experience, but when you go to McDonald's and you order a large fries and you say extra salt, they don't put extra salt on it. They sit there and go, he doesn't know the difference. So you've got to carry your own little baggies of salt.
Interesting. I was not aware of that. So, but
I'm more skeeved by the fact that after his brother died, Hunter Biden was just like, I'm going to bang my sister.
And not only that, they kept it a
creepy.
secret for the entire family. Joe Biden found out through a Page 6 article that his son was dating the widow of his dead son.
That the sexual tension at those family reunions must have been, because nobody can tell. It's the taboo love. It's the holding hands under the table, playing footsie, picking up my brother's urn, while his widow stares longingly at it, while I sit there and grind up against her rump. I mean, it's just some crazy things going on.
Apparently, very crazy.
And that's what we call love in the Biden family. Love in the Biden family.
All right.
Living it up when you're getting high.
You're really you're very musical this week. I like this side.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the love, Ron.
I think 2 shots of gin might be your prescription for all future podcasts.
This was 4 shots. Because it was I did 2 and 2,
oh,
but the glass is so big. I had another. I was able to go double. So this is 4 shots of gin, 4 shots of club
tonic.
Nope, tonic water. 4 shots of tonic water, and I am feeling good.
Right,
feeling good.
Maybe we should start to wrap this up. Brian, you were down in Philly this past weekend. Good to see you.
What a great fucking weekend. First off, I'm going to say this to you. I love you and your wife,
and we love you right back.
And it's not a reflection of you. It genuinely is. And I'm not saying that you've got a perfect marriage and everything is great and there's never any type of friction or issues or whatnot. But I genuinely, watching you and your wife interact with each other, it's, as an outsider watching it, as somebody who's gone through some failed relationships, some failed marriages, a lot of heartbreak. It's great watching 2 people, fit, like where you're AB, she's BA, and just 2 people that, in my opinion, should be together are together. So I love spending time with you and your wife. The 19 cats is a different issue.
I understand. We did head down to watch the Philadelphia Soul take on the Albany Empire in some arena football, going back to our days in the early 90s when we used to go to arena football there in Albany, and possibly got kicked off of a radio station afterwards because of it. But this was a much better time, I think.
I had a great time. I feel bad. I genuinely felt bad because I would not describe the game as particularly well attended.
No, I would say the Wells Fargo Center was probably less than half full.
Oh, I would say it was probably closer to a third or whatnot. What I will say is that it was a very fun experience. It was an experience. I live for experiences, Ron. I don't think you understand. I'm all about the Instagram. But it was a sporting event. It was 2 teams that what I would consider had a equal level of play. Would I compare the level of play to the NFL? No. Would I compare it to, Division I football? Maybe. No. But I'm going to tell you something. I had fun. It was fun rooting for a team. It was fun watching, a different type of football. This isn't on a 100-yard field. This is 50 yards. There are the width is smaller. It was fun. It was fun just being able to watch 2 teams compete against each other, rooting for one over the other. And because it's Philadelphia, the thing that made it additionally nice was the ability and the encouragement of everybody around you to boo whenever anything was not going your way. I mean,
we're good like that.
I cannot remember. This was not 1970s Philadelphia Eagles football. I can't even imagine what that environment was like. But to watch an arena football game where guys are really, they're not getting rich. These kids are playing for the love of the sport. They're trying to make a name for themselves. They just love playing football. And the ability for me is just a a jackass from New York to come down to Philly and just boo some guy because he dropped a pass. It was just a great experience.
And Brian, you'll be down in Philly again in just a few weeks. It's really sneaking up on us.
Why would I come back?
July 20th, Philadelphia Podcast Festival, live, Ron and Brian at Tattooed Mom, 12:30 to 1:30, 5th and South. Come on out.
Let's do this.
We're trying to get an idea of how many people are coming, so if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see the event listed there. Let us know if you're interested. Let us know if you're going. We've got some good attendance so far. We'll have the merch. We'll have hats, shot glasses, magnets, stickers, the whole 9 yards. We've got a lot of surprises. It's going to be a good time. We've never done a live show like this before. I think it's going to be a pissa, a wicked pissa.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. It's going to be an opportunity for us to get in front of our fans in a way that we have not done yet. It's a way for us to, I don't want to sound and make things uncomfortable, but it's a way for us to connect with the podcasting community, really hit the pavement.
Yes.
We want to hit the pavement.
Yep.
There's 700,000 podcasts
at least
that are out there in America. No, that's the general number
right
now. It's 700,000, which means that there is a lot of content out there. I want anyone who's listening to me talk right now to know that I appreciate the fact that you are willing to donate 1 hour of your time per week listening to Ron and I do our very best to try to entertain you. And doing these live shows, and this is not the only podcast festival we've applied for. We want to do these. We want to get out of the Northeast area. We want to travel the country. We want to let people know we are out here, and we are going to go to you. Come out if you're in the Philadelphia area on July 20th. This is going to be an opportunity for us to engage. We're not just going to get up there and just talk for an hour. We want to be, it's going to be about audience participation. That's the big thing for us, is that here's an opportunity where it's not just Ron and I talking to each other, but we're going to be able to suddenly have that third, fourth, and fifth voice. And that voice could be yours if you are at Tattooed Moms on July 20th at 12:30 p.m. We're starting off the day. We're going to set the tone for the entire festival that
We're
day.
coming out hot. That's all we can say.
Yeah,
We're coming out hot.
We're going to set the bar high, and we need you to help us do it. So if you are, if you've got the ability to come out, please do so. If you're not, you very well may regret it not being in attendance afterwards.
All right. Anything else this week, Brian? I think we covered everything. It was a good show. I'm pleased with what we did here today.
Absolutely. I think I need to do 4 shots of gin every week.
We'll look into that. We'll get you a gin budget going. All right. Well, again, hop on over to the Facebook page, the Twitter page, the Instagram page. Vote in This Week in Racism. Send us your thoughts on Drink of the Week. And again, we've been sending out stickers left and right here. Go to the website, hit up the Contact Us page, send us your address, and we'll send you some stickers. Maybe we'll throw some magnets in there as well.
I had an idea.
All right.
I don't know if you, but what I would actually, I thought for the July 20th episode is I would like to open up the floor to anonymous listener questions.
Okay.
Okay. So go to our website. There, you click the Contact Us button, and there is a section right there where you can fill out. Make up an email address. It's not about who you are or whatnot, but write us a question. Write something. Maybe you do want to be notified. Maybe you do want your name to be mentioned. I don't know. It's up to you. But I think it would be a great live bit for us to read listener questions, and it could be on politics, it could be drinks, it could be about our jobs, it could be about where we live, it could be about why my marriages fail and Ron succeed. I mean, it literally is anything and everything. But I think it would be a great opportunity for you guys to be able to help control the dialogue, and that's ultimately what we want. This isn't just a one-way form of dialogue. It should be two. This is an opportunity to be heard. We open up our Racist of the Week poll. We open up the Drink of the Week. We want you guys to be part of it. Go to our website. Go to the Contact Us page. Ask us a question.
And even if you're not going to be there
mind.
on the 20th, you can still ask us the question because we're going to get a recording of that show. We'll put the recording up for you to download and listen to like every other episode. So make it on out if you can. If not, you can still interact with us. Other than that, I think we're about done here. This might be a wrap.
I love you.
All right, love you too, sir. So we're going to roll on out of here. You all have a good week. Enjoy your Independence Day. Rate, listen, review, subscribe, and check us out again next week.